So this is my second episode recording with you this new season, but it's actually a third episode, right?
Yes. It's our third episode. We are pretty much just trying to crank these out as fast as possible now because, we got a big holiday coming up. And so we're just trying to make up for lost time as well. So this is episode 3 of the Live China Music Podcast. I'm your host, Will.
And I'm Ellie.
So, how you been?
Yeah, been good. It's a holiday, so when I'm not at the office, I kind of don't know what to do with myself. But yeah, we get to record, so I'm happy with that. Keeps me busy.
As we kind of mentioned last time, September is pretty crazy with releases.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's because it's just, people want these albums to be fresh in everyone's mind by the end of the year when they're doing their roundups. But there has been so much new music coming out. And really, we can't wait to share some of it with you.
We got a few different things coming up. I mean, this time around, we don't have any electronic music. We don't have any hip-hop. We're more in the indie rock general sphere of things today, right?
I mean, I suppose you could say that, but that's pretty broad. But yes, we're not going heavy today, but we are gonna go to some interesting places sonically.
Absolutely. And the first place we're gonna go is with a band that's been around for a bit and doing interesting things, and they're on tour right now. And this is Fayzz with Echo Dance.
So that was Echo Dance from Fayzz. This Chengdu instrumental rock outfit, they've been around, as we said, and they're pretty consistent, putting out a new album every couple of years. And I just love these guys so much. The groove is just impeccable. There's so much groove on these tracks, and they're so playful.
It's playful. You said, yeah. You noticed the bongos in there, which is always fun. It's super precise as well. They know what they're doing. They know what they're trying to do, and you can hear the drummer's busy, but he's busy in a way that it's interesting. It's not just adding stuff to add stuff. It's all very well constructed.
Yeah, very, very meticulous. It's the way it's arranged, assembled is just perfection. Every layer comes in perfectly, and as you said, they know exactly what they're doing and what they're aiming for. Just a great. I mean, this is kind of great background music. This is the kind of music you just kind of want to have on in your house in the background while you're cooking dinner or something.
Yeah, but when you're doing something specific. Not when you're lazing around on the couch. When you're,
yes,
when you need to respect a certain schedule, you have a deadline to meet, and this will keep you, on the ball.
Right. Keeps you on your toes. Mm-hmm. Keeps a spry in your step as you're going about your chores.
Yeah.
As you said, they're on tour right now. because this is off of their new LP entitled Patch, released with the new noise. And I can't wait to catch them when they come through Shanghai.
Moving on, our next track today is 3,000 Ways to Die by Naja Naja.
Body temperature, pulse rate, breathing, blood pressure, body temperature, pulse rate, breathing, blood pressure, body temperature, pulse rate, breathing, blood pressure.
Which way you wanna be killed today? Which way you wanna be killed today? Which way
Let me do a vitals check.
you wanna be killed today?
Let me do a vitals check.
Which way
Let me do a vitals check.
you wanna be killed today?
Let me do a vitals check.
Which way
Let me do a vitals check.
And yeah, that was 3,000 Ways to Die by Naja Naja. So the Beijing duo, they've been around for a bit, and they make this sound that it's kind of hard to describe, but it's absurd. There's a very surreal nature to their songs. This kind of sardonic kind of mentality to their lyrics, very deadpan delivery, all up against this kind of really hip new wave sound with these kind of motoric beats over these really nice synths. Really just good sound to jump into.
I'm kind of out of touch again. I didn't know them. You say they're based in Beijing?
Yeah. One of the guy in the band, he used to be in Last Goodbye. They're on Bia Records, based out of Beijing, and this is their second LP. Very much, if you kind of like that goofy 80s, I don't want to say like B-52s, but like there's something very fun about these guys, even when they're kind of putting this kind of moody energy out there. I mean, they refer to this record of theirs. This is off their record, Sheep Out of the Box. And so they describe this album as a modern urban fairy tale for grown-ups.
Yeah, Bie, they've been doing a lot of stuff. They've been active for quite a while now. I'm not sure. It feels like it's this record label that they work with a lot of really interesting artists, but for some reason I don't hear that much about it. I mean, it's probably on me. Whenever I hear some of their stuff, it's pretty good most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're kind of like a bit like tastemakers. They don't put out as many releases as other labels do, but they always are putting together something. And they're always, I think they do like they like to focus on not only collaborations, but kind of trying to bridge cultures from within China to outside of China. And so they tap Chinese artists who may be living in other places around the world, or they'll set up electronic compilations between Chinese and Brazilian art producers and whatnot. So they seem to always have a good head of what's hot, what's hip at the moment.
Cool. So the next track is going to take us back to, I think we covered the Beneficial Society before as well. This is the Beneficial Society with Take Me Down to Anywhere. This was a track by The Beneficial Society off of their new album. Yeah, I mean, it feels like their name's been popping up quite a lot recently.
Yeah, they're kind of a part of this new wave of young indie rockers. I guess you could also say they're a part of this kind of emo resurgence that's been happening over the past year and change, where you have these bands who are kind of just throwing everything at the wall and making this really overwhelmingly cathartic sound. They consider themselves post-hardcore, something more screamo, but I mean, there's so many things going on in this kind of world that they've created here. Very much like a Captain Jazz. It's really interesting stuff. I just love how all of these pent-up emotions just kind of like burst out with the saxophone and the screaming.
And you were saying, that there's quite a few tracks in the album that you really enjoy. That actually, it's more of an album that you should listen in its entirety.
Yeah, it's very much an album that kind of just takes you on a journey, and there are quieter songs and there are really big loud songs, and it's just really well put together. And I've been kind of I've had it on repeat for the past couple of days now, just going back and forth to it because it's just so kind of seamlessly done, and it's really, really worth your time. The band is they're just starting a tour in Japan right now, which is kind of wild considering how young these kids are.
Okay, sounds like they could be a contender for your end of the year list.
It might. I mean, it is slowly nudging out all the other kind of emo stuff that's been rising from the ashes this year. So definitely will be somewhere at the top of my list.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Next track. We're talking about the Shaketones and listening to this track called Bamboo and Wellspring.
Surf rock that knows how to take in the scenery. This is the Shaketones. They're a surf rock band from Qingdao. And that track was Bamboo and Wellspring. Just a really nice, really soulful kind of interpretation of what most people would consider surf rock.
Well, what do you think of this use of the flute? I mean, especially at the beginning, like it was a long intro, it's a 1 minute intro, but then right after the intro also, I'm curious about your thoughts.
I do believe this is the only track on their new album that uses the flute, but it's a nice addition. It's really soothing, And I do appreciate how like they're willing to take their time. They're willing to slowly let you enter their, their world. I suppose, you could say it's gimmicky, but not when it's done this well.
It reminds me a bit also of like Run 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 or there's this batch of bands that we've been talking about this whole year.
It almost falls like closer to like that kind of psychedelic sound that like Run Run Run, Sleeping Dogs, and a lot of these more instrumental acts are doing nowadays. Because it does really have a nice groove to it. And it's not the kind of punk surf rock that, people might be more familiar with.
Where do you think this music finds their fans in China today? Because, okay, there's a live aspect, but also, they're recording, they're putting those albums out. Where is this listened,
I think from what I've gathered with the Shaketones is like they, especially with surf rock bands in China, they kind of do form because there are so few, they do form their own little community around China, and they'll go on tour together sometimes. But I've kind of heard about the Shaketones because lots of established bands were tapping them to open for them whenever they went on tour. So they seem to have gathered a following with, bands out here.
Have you seen them play live?
I have not. Would really like to at some point.
Hopefully they swing by either of our cities soon, because I would also like to see them perform.
So next we're taking a little bit of a darker turn with our next track, right?
We're going to The Clinic, who have failed to save the flowers, which is the name of the next track. Failed to Save the Flowers by Clinic. There's so much to say about this. Maybe you go first, and then I'll have some hot takes for you.
I mean, I know Cold Wave is kind of right up your alley, so I had a feeling you might pick this one. So yeah, The Clinic are a Cold Wave act out of Beijing. They've been at it for a while, and this is the title track off their just released LP. If you're a fan of Cold Wave stuff, like this has all the hallmarks of, what you want out of a Cold Wave track.
Yeah, it does. And I'm also pleased to see they're working with Street Voice. And I met with one of their people a couple months back. I really like their approach to working with independent artists and their kind of general vibe. So it's cool to see that this artist is working with them. Yeah, you also have a friend who's a street. We did a thermostat, right? That is also with Street Voice, right?
Yeah.
I had to bring up what it reminded me, which is a lot of anime theme songs from the 80s and maybe a bit even earlier. Like, I don't know if you guys got that back in the US, Goldorak or Ulysses 31. Yeah, I don't know if no.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Not at all.
I know that some of those were only exported to France, but yeah, Japanese stuff, and they all used this 80s thin space stuff, and so you'd get this dugudun dugudun dum, these kind of drums, and
Yeah, I do love that drum sound, like
yeah. It's cool to see that now, besides Remo, Cephalosis, we also have Clinic coming out with something this year. I mean, what were your thoughts?
I dig it. I mean, Cold Wave is always a bit tricky for me to indulge in, but there is something comforting about bands doing this kind of thing. Now that I've kind of I've been seeing more bands, cold wave bands, a lot of Russian bands coming through these days, and you begin to appreciate the aesthetics of it quite a bit, and I think they're nailing it here.
So this was from out of an album, right?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, this is the title track off their new LP.
Okay, neat. Failed to save the flowers, 长秋香花无效. And now we're moving on to Acid Room. Their track is called, very poetically, Peeing. Will, I don't think we could get any fresher because this was released 2 days ago.
Yeah, I've been waiting a long time for this. Yeah, for this EP to come out. Acid Room. They're from Suzhou, and I've been enamored with these guys since I first saw them a couple years ago, and so I've just been waiting for some new music to come out from them. This is as indie rock as you can get. You got your woozy guitar lines here. You got this brooding kind of energy. Yeah, happy to have this. Glad it's out there. It's a great EP. Do check it out.
Yeah, they have a featuring with the Beneficial Society in this EP, and I couldn't help but laugh with the title of the last track, "F Me, I'm Famous."
Yeah, that's I mean, that's a strange reference to at Neo Bar here in Shanghai. They used to have this giant sign saying, "Yeah, fuck me, I'm famous," and so they're kind of like referencing that while at the same time, it's basically that. Yeah, it's a live track of their most popular song, and so they're kind of just cheekily, being self-aware that this is the song they're most known for.
Yeah. I actually own their Neo has like a 10-year anniversary T-shirt, which has that, in very large letters, very obnoxious. And I occasionally wear it. But it's also a reference to David Guetta. But yeah, in this context, it's definitely Neo and the crowd that they've nurtured.
Yeah, they're once again, yeah, these guys are part of this kind of new wave of indie bands making lots of noise in the past year. And so we're kind of finally seeing physical music coming out from all of them with lots of releases. And so it's kind of just like the floodgates are slowly opening.
Very nice. Do you know if they're self-produced or if they're working with a label?
Self-produced at the moment, yeah.
All right. Well, probably not for very long, based on this EP. Okay, so this is it for us today. It's a bit of a lightning, episode.
Lightning round,
Yeah. I mean, you're heading off tomorrow morning, super early or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm off to Singapore tomorrow morning. So yeah, I'll be there. Hopefully, enjoying my holidays. I'll probably check out some shows as well. And yeah, when we come back, we'll definitely have some new songs prepared for you. And I mean, hopefully not too many bands are going to release new music between now and then, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I stay very excited to see what's up and coming. This year it's been really good so far. It's always new stuff, new directions being taken, and we'll see what the rest of 2025 brings us. And do you have any of your showcases happening already, booked and lineups already done?
At the moment, the only thing I have booked is something in November for Spectre's kind of farewell show before they move house.
Right.
And so I'm keeping that under the wraps for the moment, still fishing for some bands, but that should be fun.
Okay. Yeah, Spectre's in Shanghai. I don't have any specific news right now. So I think we can just wrap it up now.
What do you mean, other than that you're leaving your job? Do you hear that, everyone? You hear that? You heard it here first.
Yeah. I am transitioning to a new role. And I mean, that's going to bring its own challenges, but really excited about that too. We'll maybe talk about some more later at some point, a couple months.
Awesome.
Something. Yeah.
Well, enjoy your holiday, Ellie. Always fun to catch up, and we'll see each other come later this month.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah. All right, good buddy. I will catch you when I see you. I see you when I see you. Remember to if you're listening to us rambling here, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, leave a comment, subscribe, and all of those good things. And catch you soon.
Enjoy, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back soon enough. This has been the Live China Music Podcast. Cheers and toodaloo.